I'm trying to reconnect. We're live. I think.
Okay, we are here, and we have today a live audience. Go ahead, scoot over there. We have a live audience with us, and so we're going to just have some really good time. I want to welcome you to Chat, Cook, and Pray, sponsored by Bethel United Church of Christ, where no matter where you are on life's journey, you are always welcome here. So are we ready to sing our song?
Oh, of course.
Okay, are we going to try to do it without looking at the card? Okay, let's go.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a story that must be told about two ladies that are kind of old. One's a pastor, the other's not. They like to chat and cook and pray a lot. Oh, oh, chat, cook and pray. Oh, oh, chat, cook and pray. Oh, oh, chat, cook and pray. Oh, oh, chat, cook, pray. There's lots of laughter and lots of fun. Tuesdays on Facebook Live at 1. You'll never know what will happen when Lucy and Ethel are at it again. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, pray. Amen. Well, we're going to get right to it. I'm going to be reading you the history of the McMuffin. That's our meal for today. And all of our audience is going to share in a McMuffin.
And you're going to need to stay back in this area so they can see up here, because
I might be in their way.
You might.
See, normally I stand over there so I can be close to the comments that are coming in, and I'm facing Marty as I read. But maybe I could sit down so I can still see comments coming in from there and face them and face the comments. What do you think?
You can try it.
I'll try it.
Never know if you can
I'll try it. Okay. All right. We're going to get started. So Marty is taking us on a McMuffin journey.
Oh, while you're out, could you grab me the eggs out of the refrigerator?
This is how it goes, folks. Now, all of you who might want to be a guest host when Marty starts back up again in the fall, be prepared. Because nothing goes as planned. That's usually our
life, right? Such is life.
Such is life. That's our MO. Okay, who's joining us? Bill Wooten's here. Shirley Atkinson's watching. Oh, see, they just saw my hand. I know my son, when Doug and my grandsons would watch it, and we always do this, and we don't even think about it. We stick our faces just right into the camera. And so they always now are making bets on when is Grandma going to put her face in the camera and make mistakes. Well, they don't. It doesn't take long, and I'm already there.
Oh,
so Marty, what do you need to say?
Okay, I want to show them. I've got two kinds of deals. Actually, these are both different ones that are little egg form things that make perfectly little round ones. And because I was doing so many today, I didn't want to take half the day doing it. So I also you can use, this was from water chestnuts. I tried tuna, and now we're going to have a lot of tuna salad sandwiches at my house because the tuna cans were not rimmed on the bottom, they were indented.
Why are we dinging?
Because it's off.
Oh, okay. We're done there?
But we'll see it back on.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, so I used the water chestnuts, work just fine, and they're a good substitute if you don't have the little silicone forms.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to spray them with pan spray so that the eggs don't stick in there.
I guess I can watch this way. I keep turning around because I feel weird sitting here. Shirley can't hear you. Randy's on. Be sure to show the audience and their smiling faces. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we're gonna get
They're going to be smiling when they're eating McMuffins.
You
You'll take your mask down and smile and eat your McMuffins.
Yeah, you can go to a table and take
Yes,
a chair
we've got
there.
tables for your convenience.
Okay, now all we do I've warmed up the
Louder,
stove
you
here.
need to talk louder,
Yes,
they can't hear you.
Yeah, because we've got the camera a little further away.
Do you want me to move it closer?
No, because then we see the other stuff. Okay, we just break the eggs into the little forms. Oh, I just love it. these cans are that it kind of leaks out the bottom a little bit, but you still get good enough egg.
Okay, I want you to shout now.
I'm gonna show.
There, make it that loud, or they can't hear you. See, they never have a problem hearing me because
No,
I'm
and
so
you know,
close
we
to the
try
mic,
sleep
and it
through
doesn't matter.
services, and we can't do that even. Okay, and after you put the eggs in, then you break the yolks. With just a fork works really well for that. And you just break the yolks. And then we're just gonna cook these a little bit.
I don't want to get you all's way.
Okay,
Okay. All right, so now that's gonna cook.
that's right.
Okay, you tell me when you want me to start reading.
Okay, well, just as soon as I do this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna butter the muffins on each side with my wonderful soft spread butter from Land O'Lakes that I got at Sam's Club or Costco, either one are the best prices.
Okay.
And then I'm going to butter the muffins.
Okay, so she's gonna break the muffins in half. She's not actually doing buttering them on each side. She's
Yes,
buttering the
well,
broken sides
Yeah, the
inside.
inside. You're
Yeah.
supposed to butter the outside also, and then brown that too, and I didn't do
Okay.
that because I don't like it like that.
All right. So make sure you let us know if you can hear her. And while she's buttering and frying the muffins, I'm going to start reading the history of the McMuffin. All right. Let's scoot a little closer so people won't say they can't hear me. McMuffin is a family of breakfast sandwiches sold by the international fast food restaurant chain McDonald's. The Egg McMuffin is the signature sandwich, which was invented in 1972 by Herb Peterson to resemble Eggs Benedict. Now, I think that's funny.
Yeah.
It doesn't resemble Eggs Benedict to me. Okay, to resemble Eggs Benedict, a traditional American breakfast dish with English muffins, ham, eggs, and hollandaise sauce. I guess they're missing the hollandaise sauce. In the U.S. and Canada, the standard McMuffin consists of a slice of Canadian bacon, a griddle fried egg, slice of American cheese on a toasted buttered English muffin. The round shape of the egg is made by cooking in the white plastic ring, or as she showed you, the little rings that she has here. The sandwich was invented in 72 by I already told you, Herb Peterson. Former McDonald's President Ray Kroc wrote Herb Peterson and his assistant Don Greedle, the operator of the Santa Barbara, California franchise, asked Kroc to look at something without giving details because it was a crazy idea. A breakfast sandwich, it consisted of an egg that had been formed in a Teflon circle with a yolk broken and was dressed with a slice of cheese and a slice of grilled ham. It was served open-faced on a toasted and buttered English muffin. The advent of the Egg McMuffin opened up a whole new area of potential business for McDonald's, the breakfast trade. So until this time, I guess they weren't doing the breakfast trade. It was 1972 when they started in breakfast. First McDonald's corporate authorized Egg McMuffin was served in Belleville, New Jersey at a McDonald's there in 1972. Tuesday is the day late sleeping Egg McMuffin fans have been waiting for. Starting October 6th, McDonald's will begin, is this right? What is that? Okay, I'll read it again. I think it's the announcement they made. Because I thought, well, look what we're getting
Because
now.
some places are now doing the
Okay.
all-day breakfast.
Yeah. Tuesdays is the day late sleeping Egg McMuffin fans have been waiting for. Starting October 6th, McDonald's will begin serving breakfast all day across the United States. And I don't know what year that
They
is,
stopped here and now they changed since that was written.
whenever that was reported. It's a move that's been decades in the making for the fast food chain, which introduced the popular sandwich in the mid-70s. Like Silly Putty and penicillin, ooh, why are they comparing the Egg McMuffin to Silly Putty and penicillin? Like Silly Putty and penicillin, the Egg McMuffin has an origin story that only adds to its mystique. In this case, it's the tale of how a McDonald's franchise owner had to pretty much trick McDonald's owner Ray Kroc into trying the first McMuffin, knowing that Kroc might otherwise dismiss the idea. Kroc told this tale in 1977 when he wrote his autobiography, Grinding It Out, The Making of McDonald's. shortly after the sandwich was introduced. It started on a fateful 1972 trip to Southern California. Herb Peterson, who ran the McDonald's in Santa Barbara, which we already heard, asked Kroc to come take a look at something, but no matter how much Kroc asked, Peterson wouldn't say what it was. The rest was history. He didn't want me to reject it out of hand, which I might have done because it was a crazy idea, a breakfast sandwich made in a circle with the yolk broken and Canadian bacon. This was served open-faced, but then I tasted it, and it was sold. Wow. Meanwhile, Patty Turner, the wife of a McDonald's executive, came up with the name that Kroc credited with putting the new menu item over the top, Egg McMuffin. Though Kroc would note that it took 3 years to get the Egg McMuffin completely integrated into the McDonald's system, by late '73, the magazine Time was already praising the sandwich, which went for 63 cents at the time. As an example of how the chain pays close attention to suggestions from behind the counter. So they do listen to their employees. If somebody has an idea, an executive will come and try it out, and then it may get on the, on the menu. With the Egg McMuffin came the opening of the entire fast food breakfast market. It was exhilarating to see the combined forces of our research and development people, our marketing and advertising experts, and our operations and supply specialists, all concentrating on creating a program for catering to the breakfast trade. Kroc wrote in his book 5 years after the Egg McMuffin was introduced. At the time, McDonald's was still figuring out how to deal with some breakfast snags, such as how to serve pancakes when pre-cooked flapjacks are particularly gross, and that is true. So they must find that they found a way to keep them warm without them getting eaten. And convincing store operators to work longer hours. Consequently, the breakfast program is growing at a very moderate rate, Kroc added, but I can see it catching on across the country. And he was prophetic about that. By 1981, breakfast accounted for a full 18% of McDonald's sales. Within the next few years, many competitors had introduced their own breakfast offerings, realizing that the morning rush was a natural fit with fast food. Eating breakfast from Jack in the Box meant an extra half hour that was well spent sleeping, a San Francisco security guard told the magazine. Now, more than 40 years after Kroc's trip to Santa Barbara, the night shift can benefit from that logic too. Breakfast is for everyone. So, how many of you have eaten McDonald's Egg McMuffins? Well, good. When I told Marty, and I feel so bad now.
Oh, you do not.
I don't. Marty said to me, we had talked about what's going to be for our live audience. What can we fix that, we can safely give to everyone, and since we're still going in the midst of the COVID thing. And so we were talking, and she said something about Egg McMuffin, and I thought she was kidding. Well, then, as we got closer to this day, I said to Marty, so what are we having? And she said, well, I told you we're having the Egg McMuffin. And I should never have reacted like this. This woman works herself to the bone getting food here and everything when we do this, and then there's just been the few times that I've accompanied her, but that's not her favorite thing when I accompany her. But, and so when she said Egg McMuffins, I went, ugh. I didn't exactly say it like that.
Yeah, you said, I don't like those.
Well, that's what I said. And so anyway, and I must have been kind of,
crappy mood.
I was in a bad mood. Do not say words like that. We're on TV. I was in a bad mood or something, and I can't remember. And I said, well, they're so dry, and and then
I'm gonna have to put mayonnaise on mine.
I'm gonna have to put mayonnaise on mine, I said. And so then I went home, and I felt awful. I thought, did I really say that to Marty, that I didn't want to try her Egg McMuffin?
I said, you really like them. I don't know. I don't like those. I'm not gonna do that.
So anyway, I end up calling her up, and I go, Marty, this is Karen, and I just want to say, I think that it'll be good, because everything you make is good. And so I think, and I said, but it's just that when I get it at McDonald's, and I don't normally get it at McDonald's now because of the first couple I tried, the muffins were so dry, I thought I was going to get a scar in my roof of my mouth. And so I said, but I know you'll probably, it'll all be different. And of course, then she goes into how she steams the muffins. So the muffins are soft and, uses the Canadian bacon and the cheese and all this stuff. So then I thought, well, I just can't believe I was just so short-tempered.
It wasn't like you at all.
It wasn't like me at all.
I mean, you might do it with other people like Tori, but not me.
But there's been a lot going on. There's a lot of this is my final week, and so each day brings new things, and I was sharing with Kathy Korn. She came in earlier and was sitting in the office, and I said, you know what? When I got the things off the wall, that's when it really hit me that I am leaving this space. This is no longer my office. I have all of the pictures and all the things that I had hanging on the walls, and I have left several things. And this is called gifting. And this whole thing I learned when I was in the Philippines. I have gifted to Bethel things that were my own, but now I find that there's places here that I wanted to leave them. And so I have a cross from Guatemala that I left on the nursery door. I have the wreath that I had on my door of the different women of the world that went around. I have that on the office door. I have my big picture of the lion and the lamb laying down together, which represent the peaceable kingdom, and that I'm giving to the Sunday school, so it'll hang downstairs in the Sunday school. I've left a couple of things on my walls in the office that were meaningful to me. And also for the office, I had a picture of it was put together in a puzzle, just like the picture of the peaceable kingdom is a puzzle that has been, made into solid. This was a fish that has Jesus and the disciples and things on it, and Marty found a way to, because I never had that framed, and so while I've been here, I had it sitting up on a shelf of my bookshelf, and the thing got all bent and crimped looking. So, of course, Marty, she says, I can fix that.
I did.
And you did. But here's how she fixed it. Do you remember the movie, The Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Uh-huh.
And how the guy always sprayed Windex on everything? So, she sprays this thing with Windex and then flattens it down by laying Bibles on it. So this, you talk about something holy. So she flattens it down and lays Bibles on it. And sure enough, the thing is stiff as a board.
And she says today.
And I said today, I wonder if I'm going to have to put a backing on it if we want to hang it on the wall. And so then what do?
Well, you told me, you said, go get that stuff that you used.
Oh, yeah, I said, go get that stuff you used to make it. Yeah, I thought she used some kind of glue. And she goes, you mean you want the Windex? And I said, Windex? So maybe she'll use the Windex to make her muffins better. Okay, so what do you got there, girl?
Okay, what I've done is, each of these, and you can kind of see here, the circle comes out really nice, and then I put the cheese on the bottom, and then a slice, the egg, and then a slice of the Canadian bacon, and then a half a piece of cheese. I would have normally maybe used the second piece, however, I didn't bring enough.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Then I wrap them in foil, and then we stick them back in the pan, and we let them continue warming up.
Is that what those are doing in that oven?
Yes.
Don't you think they're warm now?
Well,
They've
they were
been
cold
going
eggs,
a long time.
I cooked them. Okay, so
Uh,
now these will
okay.
continue cooking, and we'll see how
Okay.
these little guys.
See, having that sound off makes it so much nicer.
Oh, but it just enhances your words.
You can see over time, we've been doing this now for 15, 16 months, can't remember how long. we just kind of, play off of each other, and I never know what's going to come out of her mouth. So I'm just glad we're still online. That we haven't been. That we haven't
tell
been.
the Bible stories because you didn't really like my interpretation of some of those stories.
No, I did not. All right, so she's like,
I just combined two together. I thought it was
right.
a way to shorten up the Bible lessons.
Yeah, I know. Okay, she's going to get these out, and here's what I think is our idea. You all will come around and pick up a muffin. Do we want to pour coffee and have sit out here, or do you want them to go pour their own?
We probably should pour the coffee.
I think so.
And,
I'm going to go do that now.
And if you'll
Okay.
turn on the hot water because Lori would like a
Oh,
cup
I
of
got my
hot
own
tea.
hot tea.
Oh, you got your tea? Okay.
All right.
And the coffee.
And we'll have coffee, and I don't know how many take sweetener or creamer, but I will set that on the table too. And we need more of our sweetener packets. Okay. So then what we're gonna do, here's the plan. You guys will get your muffins and I'll say a prayer, cause so often during this time I'd forget to say the prayer before we ate. So I'm gonna do that. And then we'll eat our muffins and we'll just chat. We will just talk. If you have questions, if you have an interest in being a guest host once Marty starts Chat, Cook, and Pray up again in the fall, you need to let her know. If you have any questions about how we've been preparing for my leave taking, and if I can answer those questions, I will.
Or as I call it, your abdication from the throne.
Her abdication from the throne. I don't think so. So anyway, I'm going to pour some coffee. We're going to make sure we see you all on our screen. In fact, as you come through here and get your coffee, and then I'll have here and pick up your McMuffin and go to those tables or that table back there. You all will be seen on screen, so you need to wait. Where's the coffee cups?
It should be in the little cupboard. The little doors open up, and they're underneath
Oh.
there.
Oh my goodness!
You haven't been in there
She's
for
never
over a
had
That's
year.
it.
right. None of us have. None of us have. So, I will put these out, and I will get some plastic spoons. All right. So, tell me as we sit here and converse, what has been the thing about Chat, Cook, and Pray that you have enjoyed the most?
Your humor.
Trying a new recipe every week.
And Lori, I think you win the prize. You cooked them every week.
Really?
She did it every week. Isn't that great?
Bob
Except
was
the week
very
I was on
appreciative.
vacation, but I made it when I came home.
Okay, Marty, are both of these the same? Are they both decaf?
No, they're both regular.
They're both regular. Okay.
We didn't want our
Make sure.
auntie in sleeping.
All right. Well, I tell you what. I think the humor was something that we both enjoyed too. But I'll tell you, and I don't know if you can tell it or not. It just came so natural until we would watch it back after it was over. We didn't know sometimes what we had said, and so, which that's not a good thing.
Yeah, like when you count to 4 when we're singing.
Did I do that today?
Yes, you did that today.
Why did I say 4?
You do it all the time. Just to drive me crazy.
That's weird. It was so weird, the history of this, how it got started, because at first, what it was going to be is, I told Marty, I need to do something to connect us again. We need to do a Bible study or some such thing. Well, that wasn't her favorite thing. And so, then I know you all remember I started painting a picture that I had sent off for a paint by number thing that ended up to be extremely hard because there was no place bigger on it than that. And so the first thing we did What was the first thing we did before we started doing cooking?
We just
You
did the
watched
one-
me paint my pig, or we talked about?
We talked about kind of what we were gonna do, and I brought in my rabbit that my neighbor made for me,
Okay,
and she hopped around on your desk for a while.
okay, that's not very entertaining.
Well, we weren't very entertaining.
And then we started saying, send in your ideas of what you'd like to do. And then Marty got the idea, or we
Yeah.
said something about a cooking show. We
I
got to
said-
talking about cooking
I
shows.
said, well, I could cook for this next time, but we didn't have anything to cook on,
Right.
so I made those date balls.
Oh my gosh, yeah, those were terrible.
Well,
They didn't come together like you thought. Remember, they kept.
well, no, because we used that stupid Cuisinart that was here in Bethel, and I could have done better chopping them with a knife, and it was horrible.
Oh gosh,
Oh, that!
Oh,
Oh,
now,
God!
see, that's the
chocolate.
one you all
That was
remember.
hers.
that was me.
It should have been chocolate covered
Thank
banana
you.
nuggets. Banana nuggets, and she's no, we need it. And then what your daughter said, what they looked like.
Well,
was really
please don't
nice.
say. Don't talk about it.
I don't have to. It was pretty
Ew.
obvious.
But I'll tell you what. Tell me this. How many of you remember the banana episode? I mean, come on. That it. And then we had those bananas, and I started serving them at if we had groups come in and eat.
Administration, and you
and
couldn't
it's-
even get them to eat all of them. You finally, the last one you pulled out
Oh,
had these sprinkles on it, and it looked like it had warts.
Oh, it was terrible.
And it looked like it had some kind of growth. We threw it away.
Okay, enough of the bananas. But that's how it all got started. And then occasionally I would show you how far along I was on my picture. And, then it got to the point where I thought I was never going to finish it. And then I finished it.
What picture?
The tree of life. I would show the painting, and I'd have a few things painted, and then the next time you guys looked a little more. And I never, it never did, I could never picture it. I knew what it looked like done online, but as I was painting, I kept thinking, gosh, this doesn't look right. And then when the whole thing was done, it was amazing how, the trunk was there, and then it was, I think it was my son who came over and looked at it, and he said, well, look at all the birds. I swear I had not seen a bird in that entire thing. The whole time I was painting it, the whole time, and he goes, well, don't you see the 6 birds? And I said, I didn't see any birds. And so then he started pointing out, here's a bird, and here's a bird. And then when he pointed them out to me, I think I was always so close to it, and even after it got done, my mind wasn't getting it. Okay, we do have enough coffees now for people to start coming.
Coming up?
If you want to get water at the water fountain instead of coffee, I'm going to pour this many and see how many of you use it. Take your chair, after you, while you guys are getting your stuff, Marty, you and I can move the chairs.
Yeah.
I think you better move that back. That's going to be awful close to
Yep.
you getting this stuff.
I noticed.
Okay, because we got to make sure. But we will get some chairs around the table, and then we can also still use that table. This
Okay.
is so much fun.
Just help
We're so
yourself.
glad you're here.
Yeah, usually it's pretty lonely here.
And I would, go around that way, get your coffee, get your muffin, and then come to a table. Thank you. Fine. All right. Whoa, sorry. Okay, that's good. I think we got it.
Got enough?
Yeah, we got enough, because then they can also sit over there. Oh, this is so
That's what
much
I'm doing,
fun.
going around, going around the camera. Oh,
And as
cheat,
soon as
cheat, cheat.
everybody gets their muffin, I'll say a prayer. Don't forget.
I'm good, how are you?
Okay. Oh, good. I think we got plenty. So you guys pick your, pick take your places. And as narrator, here's our dear audience that's coming by. They're getting their coffee, they're getting their muffins, and we're just so glad to have them.
Glad to be here.
Good. We're glad you are. And here's some just empty glasses if you want to get water. I will pour some coffee. Okay, if you all need more coffee, there's some sitting up here. So, get your stuff. How are you, Miss Jamie?
I'm okay, how about you?
I'm good. All right. So now, we put it on our table. And you want a cup of coffee? Sure. Okay. So, I tell you what, you're all out there in TV land. This is a great special time that we're
The only
having.
time I would buy
And
them would,
it's so
if the
great to
Chiefs
see our
got a
friends
sack
and-
in football, it'd be buy one, get one free.
Get ready now. This Sunday is my
Not
final
50%
service at
anymore,
Bethel.
Right?
They're now, they're like $3 or $4. Yeah. This is very.
Okay.
It is.
It's hotter than McDonald's.
We've got our cups. Yeah, that's right. Believe me, Marty would have kicked me under the table. Did you forget something? Okay, so let me sit down, then we have to put ourselves in the picture. Okay, and you can get, wow, how did we get so good?
It was practice.
I know. That looks pretty good.
Okay.
All right, we're here. I see you're all bringing things up on the screen. Cannot help you. Can't say it. So hopefully you all are seeing it in your chat, since I'm not going to be reading it aloud. Then I got thinking, why do I read it out loud anyway? Except I think sometimes they're fun to share. Don't you? So she gets them on her phone and tries, so we can sit here and still see the comments. So I'll wait till she's on the phone, and then we'll say a prayer. And then while we're talking, just let this be like any brunch, lunch you're sitting at. Just visit with one another, or you can ask questions of me or Marty, and we will share with you those things. Okay, are you finding us?
Yes, I found it.
Okay.
All right.
Let's say a prayer. All gracious and loving God, we ask that you pour out your spirit on this group today. We've had the joy of being with them every Tuesday for the last 15 months, and we are just so thankful for all the connections and relationships that have been made due to this show. We ask that you continue to bless each and every one, and may we always know that when we are fixing a meal, we are fixing something to be shared. And we thank you that we can share today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Okay, so any comments you want to read?
Oh, gosh, got 34 of them.
Wow. And a bunch of them are here that normally are on the...
Yeah, Shirley Atkinson and Betty Brandt Harris, and 2 other people are watching you. Randy says, I enjoy the most was being the test person each of the weeks.
Now, Randy,
It's too hot.
she would test all of these recipes out on Randy. So, okay, I am now going to eat my words. It's very tasty.
Very good.
No mayonnaise needed, huh?
No mayonnaise needed.
Was
I
the
do
bun
not.
soft?
And the buns are soft enough for me, yes.
This got me.
No mayonnaise needed.
Randy says howdy everyone in the peanut gallery.
Okay, Randy said hello to everybody in the peanut gallery.
What do you do without Randy?
Randy was our most avid commentator.
Humor.
And joke fellas.
Joke teller.
What type of computer does Ronald McDonald use?
Okay, here's a joke from Randy. What kind of computer does Ronald McDonald use? Okay, we don't.
A Big
A Big
Mac.
Mac.
A Big Mac.
Oh, a Big Mac. Oh, cute.
What do you call a holy man working at McDonald's?
I have no idea.
A fryer.
Oh, he has one for everything. For
Did you hear
everything.
McDonald's is trying to get into the high-end steakhouse market?
Yeah.
It was a big mistake.
Say it again.
It was a big
I mean,
mistake.
ask me the question.
Did you hear McDonald's trying to get into the high-end steakhouse market?
Okay, no, I didn't hear that.
It was a
Big mistake, okay. So as we're sitting here, can any of you remember one of the meals or things that Marty cooked that you tried, and what was your favorite? Do any of you have any favorites of what you saw cooked?
That's why I
Yeah.
cooked all of them.
Deb?
You made a dessert that was so good, I had to come over here, because I was watching at my mom's, and I came over here and had to try a piece on my way home. That thing was so
What
good, I
was it?
can't even remember what it was, it was some kind of pie, I think, it was
Those two pies, refrigerator was.
yeah, it was the pie.
Oh, the refrigerator pie?
Yeah.
We did two different ones.
Yum.
We did the
Yeah.
ones with maraschino cherries, I think, and,
No, it wasn't that one.
Yeah,
and then the other one was with the, Bismarck cookies.
with
Oh.
pineapple and whipped topping, is that what,
What was it?
the pie with, was that with
Yeah.
pineapple and whipped topping?
You kind of with topping, and then we had one that was with, the almond butter.
That was good.
Oh, and I made that recipe for the Danish.
Yes,
Oh, we love that.
I made that.
Really good.
That was so simple, and she just threw that in at the end, cause she brought some for dessert after whatever you fixed that we need.
I need that recipe,
Oh.
please. I deleted it.
It was so, I tell you what, it was just 4 simple steps or something, and she had the apricot jam or something as part of the topping. It was great.
I made it twice for friends, and then I sent some with other friends for their breakfast, and they loved it.
Well, some of those
I couldn't
recipes, I
find-
think you need to, the best ones, you need to do a rerun,
There you go, you got it made for when you start again.
yeah.
Do a rerun. Well, the whole intention is, and I don't know that we would get all the recipes in, but our hope is, and now, for Bethel's hope is that our recipes can be copied and put in a book to commemorate
Yes.
our first Chat, Cook and Pray.
And my idea is we'd use the money from that for the Backpack Shippers program.
Okay.
So we would sell the cookbook with, there'll be, oh my goodness, I don't know how many.
There'd be,
Tons of recipes in there, and then sell it, and like Marty said, use it for a mission, and maybe Backpack Shepherds, and depending on how many go, we have some great money for missions. But there were so many recipes, and there would be times, and of course, you know, Marty and I, it's only been Marty and I here for the last 15 months or so, and now that we've started to open up, but it would just be, you know, we'd finish a show, and then we'd sit and we'd laugh at ourselves, and then Marty would start right away thinking of what she was gonna cook next, and so she'd be looking online, and then she would run off all these recipes, and then she'd come in and say, what do you think of this? And then, of course, she had her specialty cooking with the tagine, which that was so interesting just to see what that thing did. You know, cause it cooks from inside and then water falls down on whatever's cooking in it and keeps it moist and, so I love the cooking that she would do, where she got her ideas from some of the many families that her and Randy host when they come over.
Oh,
Or-
I do have something funny to read you. We're getting 2 new officers this year, and they're from Saudi Arabia. One of them is here going to the Defense Language School in San Antonio, Texas, and the other one is because of his military commitments in Saudi Arabia. He's still there, but he'll be coming over on the 22nd of this month, I believe it is. But there was an email, they've responded back, Randy always sends them a very nice little welcoming letter. And, I'm trying to find this one, I read what he responded back, because he wrote them. That's the other guy, I need to find the correct one, because we heard from both of them, which is wonderful. You never know.
And when do they get in town?
Well, the one will be here soon, but we don't see them for 2 weeks because they will immediately go into quarantine. But this one says, thanks, Mr. Randy, for all the kind words and the warmth you sent. That's totally and highly appreciated, sir. I can't wait to meet you and your wife. It seems we're going to have a good time and a great relationship, and yes, my family will be with me, my wife, and 2 lovely hamsters. A girl 6 years and a boy 2 years.
Oh, wouldn't you know? Let's see, we gotta get that phone, or should we just let it
I'll
ring?
just let it ring.
Okay, hopefully
Yeah,
they'll
me.
leave a message and it's nothing emergency. I see, my head always goes to emergency. Who did they say it was calling?
Couldn't read.
Call from Jackson, Linda.
Linda
Linda
Jackson.
Jackson.
Okay, I will give her a call.
By the way, I had 2 people tell me they liked the chicken with the mayonnaise. I never cooked it, but it
Oh,
was
yeah.
Sylvia and Nancy from New Mexico.
Yeah, that one was really good.
That was good.
They really bragged on it.
That was
Now I
so
got-
moist.
And by the
So
way,
easy.
if anybody makes the Danish, and I couldn't find canned apricots, so I just took fresh ones.
I don't use fresh, I use the
Yeah.
dry and reconstituted them with a little bit of orange liqueur.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hadn't thought of that.
Everywhere.
There are some
Sunset.
extra sandwiches up there. There's more coffee. Can I bring anybody coffee?
I looked at Sprouts, I looked at.
I would love to serve you.
Price Chopper. I looked at all these.
But, you know what? This, I think, was a great final hurrah for us to do.
Yeah.
And it,
I started
No matter when the season is, we can always find a product.
So, tell me this, would any of you see yourself as being a guest host at some time when Marty starts this up again?
I would.
Yeah.
There you go, all right,
She could, she's a good cook.
all right. Wait, you know, it's just so exciting, and,
We could be the.
I think it's, been a wonderful connection for the church to come in on Tuesdays and see everybody's name on there and say hi to each other on there or whatever you do.
Oh, God.
So, I found it to be a very wonderful activity.
He makes cookies every year.
Okay, anybody have any questions about, my leave taking or anything you want to share, as, what's the countdown now?
You got 20 minutes.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Oh,
Friday,
20
Saturday.
minutes, I'm talking about from when I leave.
5 days.
20 minutes.
This Saturday, the relaxation, is that here?
Yes,
Okay.
that is the person leading it, so if you're wanting to.
It's gonna depend on when the truck comes, at my job. I will find out tomorrow, but it's not always when it's, so,
I've never done it this way. I've like-
And Rachel, that's Kathy Korn, who is doing, and here, next to her is Jamie Elder, and then there's Deb Robinette,
And over here.
huh? And then we can go, And while this is
Yeah.
Rachel, okay, this is Rachel Wolf, one of our new members, so if you wanna introduce yourself, she was not able to come to either of the, when we did the new members, and then when we did the new members, which was Jenny, she'd already been privately, came in because she came up because she still wasn't sure if she was gonna have to work on that Sunday. And we did I asked her the questions that I asked to those that are joining, and so it was privately done, but it was in the sanctuary, and I hope it was meaningful for you,
Very
because it was
helpful.
to us.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this is
The
Rachel.
Pictures, how can I get the pictures that you two took?
Marty took all the pictures
yeah,
of
I
it,
know.
so
They're all on your phone?
yeah,
I
phone
know.
Marty. So Marty will get, send them to you.
Marty and you don't have any on your phone?
I don't have any on my phone, so she can always send me one of the ones she took of.
And then,
Have you seen
okay, yeah, cause I'd like to have those pictures.
Sure.
But yeah, it's supposed to come on Saturdays. But it doesn't ever come on time, and so like that Saturday in particular,
Right.
it was supposed to be, I believe, like 2:00 in the afternoon. And then I didn't even find out after being there at 2:00, waiting for it to show up. The trucking company called at 5:30, saying, well, it's almost 6,
Wow.
so the driver wants to know if you'll go ahead and take him tomorrow, which meant Sunday. So that's happened 2 weeks in a row.
Right. So we don't always have
yeah.
control of that. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and let them introduce themselves at these other two tables. So this is Rachel, lives next door to the church here, and has for as long as I've been here.
Yep, 15, I was thinking about that
Uh-huh.
this morning, I think it was 15, 16,
Yeah,
I think this year is 16 years now.
okay, yeah. So when she saw us, she came a long time ago, I remember Rachel, when her little girl was a baby.
No,
And-
she was pregnant with her, weren't you?
Yeah, it was,
But
yeah.
I mean, she also was here when she had her, because I met her with Eddie and her were outside, she had the baby with her.
Yeah, and that, because Eddie and I have I have a picture of that,
Yes.
with the Easter bunny.
That's right, that's right.
And Eddie's holding her, and
That's
she was
right.
a baby.
So anyway, she heard us when we started meeting outside last summer. And she said, she could hear the singing and stuff, and she thought, well, I'll just go and sit, and like, every week she'd move her chair up a little closer. And we were so glad she did. Okay, so go ahead and introduce over here, Pat, at your table.
I'm Pat Armstrong.
Okay.
I'm Shirley Menden.
Lori Buck.
Jenny Watkins.
Hi, I'm Lori. I'm from Oklahoma.
And I'm Betty.
And Betty,
Betty.
So she is now.
it's gonna take me a little while.
She already said
Yeah.
That's okay, I'm not.
Well,
good
Jane
at
is
names
new
either,
too.
Okay.
I
But
may
she-
ask
So
numerous times, tell me your name again,
Yeah.
tell me your name
That's
again.
all right, we all
I do that too.
that's right.
have had to do
And
that.
Jenny is also new, but I figured since she did the whole service in front of you all, because we did it, we
Yeah,
did
but a
that
lot of them weren't
on
here.
Pentecost, the Sunday after Pentecost. But a lot of you may have not been here on the 30th. So Jenny is also new, Jenny and Vince. And she is the sister of Shelley Willis. So, we're just happy to have you too. And it's, it's just, I think the new life that comes in with new members is always exciting because everybody has a different gift, and as soon as you feel comfortable enough at Bethel, somehow that gift will be lifted up, believe me. And what these people will say is, I'll volunteer you to use your
Well,
gift.
somebody's gonna have to find your place.
Have to find what?
Find your place. You're not gonna be here to volunteer this.
I know
Somebody
it.
will have to do
I know.
She could be in the audience.
You guys, you can volunteer each other and here
I
at
think
church.
Marquita's pretty good at volunteering too.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
I like the guilt trip thing. I learned that from my mother.
What are your plans for you and Terry?
Well, we are taking the day after we celebrate my farewell. That's on a Monday, but on Tuesday morning, with some dear friends, we're heading to a resort called Gaston's Resort in Mountain View, Arkansas. and we'll be fishing on the White River, right below Bull Shoals, and fishing for brown trout, and I've never caught a brown trout. They're very difficult, and they're very, you know, most of them are very big because they don't get caught easily. So, and this time, we normally don't have guides or anything, but Terry said we're gonna be fishing on that river that we've never fished before, and so, Terry and, Terry Keaton is his name, and myself. Kathy isn't a fisher person, but she loves going on the trips because she, you know, reads, she walks, she does all these things, and so we even have a guide for that first. We're going to drive down on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we go with the guide for 8 hours on the river. So we better find places that catch fish
You'll
because
have to
that's a
send
long
pictures.
time.
That's a pretty
And
area.
I'm sure I'm going to have
It's
to
a
have the
pretty area.
guide bring us back so I can, you know, go to the bathroom. I mean, but so that's the first thing. And then in December, there's a group of girlfriends, and from Emmanuel and from Southwood that I went to women's retreats with and things, and a bunch of us are going on a Christmas cruise down the Rhine. And, oh yeah, and well, the one who always watches, Bill Wooten, is going to be he's always wanted to go to Germany, so you know Bill's gonna go on this cruise too. So there's 6 of us that are going on this cruise, and we leave from Frankfurt, Germany, and go down the Rhine and the Danube to Vienna, and all along the way at the different German towns and along the way are Christmas markets, and the boat or the ship parks at the port. You get off of it and go and do your thing for however long, and if they have some side excursions, you do those. But it'll be there. That's where you'll spend the night before you leave the next day to go to the next port. So what I love about it is all your stuff you bring can just stay in the room. You don't have to trek to a different hotel every night and drag your bags. And so I'm excited because, of course, you know how they make videos look good. But it looked like Charles Dickens. I mean, because this is December 6th. So it can be snowing over there. And so in their video, they showed this one night where they had gone to a concert in a big cathedral, and then the people are leaving the cathedral and it's snowing, and I thought, this looks just like Charles Dickens.
It was a
That's what
backdrop.
yeah.
It was one of those backdrops.
Huh?
It was one of those
Yeah.
backdrops.
So as far as anything other than that, I don't have anything planned exactly. I know that we'll be spending more time with the kids and the grandsons, going to Boy Scout camp, and Colin has got his life, and so he will go into Mikasay this year, and then start working on his Eagle project. So, and so it's just, I don't know yet.
He's gonna be bored without us.
Yeah, that could be. Of course, I'm still going to be able to serve on wider conference committees, and so right now I'm serving on the boundary committee, our church's wider mission OCWM committee, and I am the pastor for the Western Association of getting pastors for our colleagues, for other pastors who are needing, some help and assistance, and maybe are ill and need a visit or something. Because it's so strange how pastors often they're so busy usually with their congregations, and then when they're ill, other pastors don't have the time. So I am building up a committee of about 8 pastors throughout the different clusters in Missouri. We have four clusters in Missouri. I'm trying to get 2 pastors in each cluster that can answer the need of any pastor who is in need of a pastor. So that's what I'll be doing.
You're gonna see that they send us a good one, right?
Huh?
You're gonna see
I'm not gonna, I don't have any kind of input into that, but I'll tell you what, this church is it's spot on, from the time I gave my, resignation, or retirement papers, and the council immediately got on board, and they are already working with the associate conference minister on the process of getting an interim pastor. They have already scheduled supply pastors, I think through the end of July or into August. They're hoping to get a interim pastor, I would think, by the end of August, or when fall starts. They've already made up the profile for what they're looking for in an interim, and now Damian Lake, who is the associate conference minister, will be working with Bethel because he has to receive the profiles. Nothing comes directly to the church. It comes through the conference, and then they look at the profile and then if they think that's a good match, they send the profile on to Bethel for the interim pastor, which I think probably will be for a year or a year and a half. Just depends on what kind of work you all will do with an interim pastor. Because being an interim pastor is a really great call for certain people, and they can really work with the congregation, and depending on what are the things that need to take place or whatever. So I know Bethel will shine, and you've got the right people, helping along the way, and it'll be good. And I just Bethel will persevere. Bethel will grow. Bethel will be the church in the 21st century that all churches. It's going to be different this year because the coming back in person, and this is to every church I've talked to. They know it's not going to be ever like it was before. And so as we come back and start seeing those things that will need to be changed in order for people to feel safe, because it's going to take a while before people feel safe. That's the thing. And it's been wearing a mask for 15 months, and people, are going to have a hard time, I think, feeling completely safe still. So, but you all will do it, and I truly believe the church is in for a transformation that it's just change, and change is hard, but it's in for a transformation that I think we still can't grasp after going through something like this. But yeah.
I have a prayer request from you, that you will pray every day that we find just the right minister for this church.
I definitely, that's on my heart.
So you can still pray for us, you just can't talk to us.
That's right. I can still pray for you, and I will. I mean, that's one of those things that when a pastor has been with the church as long as I have, and it used to be they were there 35, 40 years. Now that doesn't happen much anymore. That was a common thing, especially in the E&R side of the church, Evangelical Reformed. The German side of the church, those pastors stayed forever. And that's a really tough thing when you've had a pastor 30, 40 years and that pastor leaves. But now, my time here is considered long-term, with the 14 years. And, we have been, what I think about is we've been drawn into each other's hearts. The Bethel is a entity that lives in my heart and will, for the rest of my life, be that bright, shining moment of my ministry. So you all will never be forgotten. You will be prayed for each and every day, and have been prayed for, since I've been here, each and every day. So that's something that you just keep with you, so.
Can we make a special mask and have you wear it and come to Christmas and Easter?
So you won't know it's me?
Nobody will know it's you. We'll have big eyeballs.
Well, for one thing, like I said, I will always be here in spirit, and it's different now too, and because you guys are online, so you know what doesn't happen in the past with pastors who left because they did not go back to the congregation is the opportunity to watch the service online. And, you know, be able to see you all. And that's a new and different thing too, because in the past, you know, once the pastor was gone, that was it, you know. So, I can sneak in there and I can watch it, and see, I can talk to the screen. Hello.
Would you explain to us the rules of you not returning, or if there's a time frame?
Yeah. The time frame of a pastor leaving a church and still remaining close enough that they could come is at the present time, it's around a 2-year period. Because first of all, they want to go through the interim and they want to hire the called pastor. And to come back anytime during that time would interrupt that process, because as we know each other. And so if I would come back and, let's say, do a service, do a funeral, a wedding, or something like that, it compromises the congregation breaking away from you as their pastor as they're looking at it for another pastor. And so that's the thing. And again, that falls on me, because when, you know, what happens is sometimes someone calls, and they talk to you directly about something, and it falls on me to say, I cannot do that. As much as I love you, as much as I know you, I cannot do that at this time. So that's the reasoning, is because what we have seen in the United Church of Christ. Now, other denominations, it's different. For example, the Methodists, there's no, you know, they just lift a person up and take them someplace else and drop you in another one. That's what I love about the UCC. The church and the person have to agree. They have to feel like they have found a connection. It's not just one over the other. If you wanted them and they said, I'm not interested, then you don't get them. But in other denominations, for example, I use them others, you know, they have the ability to just place somebody in one church, pull that person out, place them in another church. And it happens that fast. I mean, it's not, so in so many ways, I think what the UCC does is so good, because it has some defining things that have to be followed. And because I've been part of boundary training, and I have witnessed where a pastor does not let go and seen how it harms the church as they try to move forward, I understand the need. Even though there's some pastors that probably would not, break the boundaries, but then there's some that would actually give churches options to do it thinking that they weren't breaking boundaries. Well, I won't do it there, but if you do it at this funeral home, I'll do it. Well, that was nothing. I mean, the pastor still is not, who is the pastor of the church at that time, is not, doing the service. So it's, and it really is harmful to the moving forward of getting a pastor. So, any other questions about the boundaries or anything like that?
Still televised?
Yeah, like for example, if my son.
Are you still on TV?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
we're still on. What time is it? We probably need to go.
Yeah.
She had a question.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Oh my goodness, you're my timekeeper.
Well, you were talking so much, I couldn't get it in.
Okay, then I'd say we better kazoo our way out of
Oh,
here.
right.
Cause
Oh.
we're way out.
Okay, so here we go, y'all, with our kazoos, and if you all know the words, then you sing right along with us, cause it's just the chat, cook, and pray on this one. Okay, whoops. Sorry, are you ready? Do you want me to say 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3?
You decide.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, pray. Amen. We all wish you a wonderful day. We've had a great audience today. Do you want to make one quick sweep around and
Sure.
wave goodbye, you all, to our friends out in online land? Okay, there we go. Woo! Yay!
Are
All
you able
right.
to come back as a guest?
Huh?
Are you able to come back as a guest?
No, I cannot. I cannot.
Not for 2 years.
All right.